$12,000 target for Bitcoin. It's what all the bulls want. It's what they're hoping for. What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming by Crypto Capital Venture. If you're here on Twitter, thank you for coming by. If you're watching this on YouTube, appreciate you coming by. Hit the like, subscribe, turn those notification bells on. I don't have a lot of time. I doubt you do either. Let's jump into the video. Here we go. $12,000 target for Bitcoin. So before I really jump into that, I'm going to look at resistance along the way, why it's my target, what I'm waiting for. But I tweeted yesterday, I said Bitcoin hit $1,100 as an all-time high in 2013 before entering a bear market. It took 1,183 days to break that all-time high. Bitcoin hit 20,000 as an all-time high in 2017 before entering a bear market. And it's been 924 days since. Bitcoin is not behind, it's right on schedule. COVID threw things off on the charts a little bit, on all the charts, but I'm not going to dig into that. But here's the long-term macro charts for Bitcoin. This is what I was talking about. You can see Bitcoin all-time high 2013, right? It took a while for Bitcoin to get to that area, and this isn't right. That says 924 days. We know, as per that tweet, it was around 1,183 days. And then back here in this last market, all-time high, $20,000, we're 924 days in. So I say that to really just put that foundational patience out there. I'm just throwing it out there. We need some patience. Everybody wants all-time highs. Everybody wants the crypto bull run, but like these cycles are 4 years long thus far, and we have to just let things play out. So let's look at what I'm talking about. I want to start on the 6 hour. I haven't done a video in like a week. I don't have a lot of time to do videos all the time, especially when Bitcoin is just trading kind of sideways, right? I have fake outs on the screen. So if we look at just even the last, month and a half, Bitcoin is consolidating for sure, but you see these fake outs to the downside, right? To the upside. And then in context to that, you see YouTube videos going up like Bitcoin's bullish because it's going up, right? And then it consolidates right back down. Bitcoin's bullish because it's coming up. And then it consolidates back down. And it's like the window keeps getting smaller and smaller for these Bitcoin moves. And Bitcoin is simply consolidating. So long story short, there's been a lot of fake outs. This is a 6 hour chart. One thing, if we're looking and digging into a shorter term chart, you can see Bitcoin in this falling wedge. There's a breakout target of around 10,900 or so. I think this is a nice shorter term pattern to watch. Bitcoin, especially because it just broke out today of the upper trend line. So keep an eye on that. Let's see. But really for true context, I think the most important data, we're talking about a $12,000 breakout target. It's actually a $12,400 breakout target. This is what it is. It's a rising wedge that Bitcoin is in since the beginning of May or so, upper trend line, lower trend line. And right now you can see Bitcoin's kind of bouncing off of this lower trend line area. The reason I'm watching it, the reason I'm doing this video is to talk about it because it's very similar to a rising channel that we had out of that COVID swing low, right? This lower trend line here, upper trend line here. Bitcoin broke to its target almost perfectly to around $10,000. It was a breakout target out of that rising channel. Many people saying, man, this rising channel not looking good. This is going to be a break to the downside, but it broke to the upside as often Bitcoin does in rising channels, rising wedges. So right now, Bitcoin is in a channel kind of like this rising channel back in March to April, but a little bit more like a rising wedge, right? We have consolidation happening where you have kind of an apex happening. It's taking a while, and that might lend itself to the fact that Bitcoin really has been feeling like it's trading in a boring sideways type of pattern. But right now, Bitcoin has bounced off the lower trend line. Right now, we're having a good daily break on this 50 moving average, and that's really the thing that inspired me to do this video today. This 50 moving average break on the daily chart. This was the biggest thing. I've just been opening up my charts. I want to see what Bitcoin's doing under this 50 moving average. The last few days, it's been under. That has been my biggest concern. So right now, on the short term, what I'm watching for Bitcoin is Bitcoin going to stay above that? Support above the 50-week moving average on this daily chart right here. This blue line, incredibly important. Now, in regards to this bullish breakout to 12,000 plus, there's a lot that needs to happen. I have 3 areas right here on the screen we should watch for. These are milestones for Bitcoin that we can look at in the next coming days or hours or whatever Bitcoin's going to do. Potential resistance. So let's do this. Let's take a Fibonacci retracement from the swing high back here in the beginning of June to our swing low. This was June 15th. And let's chart this first. The Fibonacci 618 to 786, this channel right here, right? That is a very key resistance area for Bitcoin. Now, those two price points are the 9,800 sitting at the 618 right here and right around 10,100 at the 786. That is a very strong resistance channel for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's like 9,600, putting in a nice daily move right now. It looks fine, but I'm not overly excited because the true resistance is 9,800 up to 10,100. If Bitcoin starts trading within that area, breaking those areas, I'll get a little bit more short-term bullish. But even then, Bitcoin has to break this previous swing high right around 10,400 to 10,500. That's another resistance area. And it's also obviously confluent with the upper trend line here on this rising wedge. So those are three areas, 9,800, 10,100, 10,500. A lot of resistance. Bitcoin can have a nice run for the next couple of days, few days, but we might ultimately see resistance up in this area. One thing I do want to point out, if we're looking at synergy and resemblance to this last rising channel back in March to April, if we open up our momentum oscillators here on the daily chart, we do see a lot of similarities. Even though stock RSI, we have coming out of this oversold area, right, at the lower trend line here, further into this rising wedge. And we have a similar move back here, coming out of that oversold area, moving towards the end of this rising wedge. So what did Bitcoin do? Bitcoin actually bounced off that bottom trend line, right? And we can actually chart this. It bounced off the bottom trend line. Let me try and zoom in a little bit so you can see it. And we probably even did videos on this, right? Came off this lower trend line up to Fibonacci resistance, which is what we're just talking about. Came back down to a lower trend line, finally broke up. So we can see a potential move very similar to that, right? Bitcoin, and it's not a bad thing. Bitcoin can come up to this Fibonacci resistance similarly, come back down to the lower trend line back at $9,300, $9,400 again, and then finally make a break to the upside. This would require more patience from everybody. So I just want to throw that out there that Bitcoin has a lot of bullish momentum in store, in play, but there's resistance ahead and we have to see how Bitcoin handles that resistance. So could get something similar than we had back here before the Bitcoin breakout, where we're getting some resistance at that Fibonacci, coming back down and breaking out. But this is why we track it. I really wanted just to show you this on the daily chart. And then lastly, to the downside, I just want to mention it. This isn't going to be a video about it right now, but we have the longer term Fibonacci retracements, right, on the weekly chart. This is a weekly chart. It's our swing low back here, pandemic low, to our swing high that could potentially be right now, the last few weeks. We might be getting a retracement back down to the Fibonacci retracement right around 6,300 to 7,200. I think that's a really strong area of, if you're waiting to truly buy the dip, that's a really solid area. That's what I'm waiting for. Altcoins would probably tank along with Bitcoin. Huge opportunity in my opinion. Anything below that, I have the 200 moving average below there, right, on the weekly charts. Don't think we'll get there, but anything below here, we're talking $5,000 to like $6,000. Maybe there's capitulation in that area, but that is an amazing opportunity to buy if Bitcoin gets there. I don't think it will, but we know Bitcoin can do whatever it wants. So either way, this is what consolidation to the downside might look like in this longer term macro look on the weekly chart. This could be the setup for entering into that bull market. Remember, last cycle, it took almost 1,200 days after the last all-time high, and this time we're not even 1,000 days after the last all-time high. Patience, everybody. Wanted to do a quick update for you all. It's been a while. I'm going to try and get back into the groove with these videos, but I appreciate you coming by. Time for me to get back to work. I will see you all in the next video. Have an awesome day, and God bless.